Paul Murray, host of Paul Murray Live tonight from 9, joins me now in the studio. Paul, good to see you. Look, let's talk about this. So, as a female, I have to say I felt a bit shaken when I saw that CCTV and police saying it does appear that he was actually indeed targeting women. It's unnerving when you're going about your business and something like this could happen.
Yeah, I mean, his father today as well, and for obvious reasons, we feel for them having to come forward and try to explain the unexplainable. His dad too spoke about the fact that it was about the targeting of women. There's a question about whether this is a person who had been rejected by women his whole life and therefore becoming involuntarily celibate, an incel. That has a whole series of things connected with it. What I am absolute about, though, is to reassure people like yourself and anyone else who's watching and everyone else who has understandably been talking about the fear that women have in public spaces. I would die for the women in my life. Every member of my family that's a bloke would do the same. Every friend that I know would do the same. So while, yes, this has happened, the extreme majority of men are not a threat in your life. Yeah. And I think it's important for someone to be saying it right now. That's not saying that there wasn't an attack on women, that this wasn't targeting of women, that there's not an issue with incel. But I would certainly like that coronial investigation to also have a look at mental health. I mean, a couple of generations ago, mental institutions were essentially shut down, meaning that in community care, this is a bloke who was apparently living in a car. What access did or didn't he have to medication to be able to deal with what he was dealing with? This is horrible. We'll never understand it. It'll hurt every day, but I promise you, blokes would die for the women they love.
And spot on. You're totally right, but you're right, though. There does need to be an inquest in particular into the mental health aspect of it. Paul, I want to ask you, because there's now debate about whether or not security guards should actually be armed. That we know that one of the security guards from Westfield died in this tragedy. Should they be able to carry a pepper spray or batons or handcuffs or something to arm themselves in the rare event that something like this occurs?
Yes, but not all of them. Perhaps there should be, in the same way that, say, with the police in the UK, not every officer has something, but you can call in a level of people who do have something else. So say it's the manager on duty who has access to some of those things rather than every single security guard, so that you know you can scale up. In big areas like a shopping centre, whether that's one on each floor as opposed to, but it wouldn't be every security guard everywhere. And can I also say, I'll have a bit to say about this tonight. The suggestions about metal detectors being introduced to Australian shops, please no, hell no. One of the great joys of the country that we live in right now is that we don't have that level of paranoia or inevitability about attacks. We have to be absolutely steadfast in our response to this, but also not pretend that this is the world that we live in every week.
I mean, this is a rare attack, and we're absolutely not downplaying it here. But I mean, we can't start introducing all of these measures, Paul.
Well,
you know?
yeah, I mean, literally, I remember the security officials quickly after the Bali bombings and those early sort of run in 2001, and they were thinking about all sorts of things, right? In conversations I know in the New South Wales Police at the time, do we put metal detectors in movie theatres because it's a couple of hundred people with one door in, one door out? The decision was made, no. One of the joys of the community that we live in is that we all are reviled by events like what has taken place, but we're also all resolved to try to live in the country that existed on Friday as much as dealing with what happened on Saturday.
Yeah, as much as we feel like the world has changed a little bit since then.
And it has.
I mean, it's all very still raw. Paul Murray, we'll see you again at 9 o'clock tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.